All right, what's up, guys? Here on another episode of Eli and Mike's podcast. We are excited to introduce someone amazing, a woman of all traits, natural beauty. I want to introduce to you Marlena Magdaleno. Hey, Marlena, how are you?
Hi, friends. How's it going?
So good. Welcome to the show. We're so excited to have you and your energy today.
Aw, thank you. Well, first of all, I'd like to say how much of a blessing it's been to meet both of you. Thank you for your hospitality and thank you for having me. And I'm excited to get into some topics today.
Thank you.
I love that.
We're definitely going to be going deep today. We have so many things to ask you, and hopefully, everything works for you, because we do like to go, we used to start talking about everything that you do, but now we like to basically kind of go and rewind and kind of start from your beginnings and see, this amazing person that you are. You're sitting here in Beverly Hills today, looking so beautiful, so powerful, so many businesses running, but maybe I could already start off with the question, where did this all start off from? Where did you grow up? How about we start off with that?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm Marlena Magdaleno. I am 27 years old. I grew up in a small Hispanic community, Hawaiian Gardens, in Southeast LA. So I'm born and raised in Los Angeles.
Oh, loves it.
And it has been a journey, to say the least.
Okay.
I'm really excited and thrilled to talk about it. But basically, I feel like life, is an endless sequence of different chapters that we experience. So if I go back to when I did live in Hawaiian Gardens, and I think about the young woman that I was then to the lady that I am now, there's so much self-reflection and there's so much growth that I've inhibited, and I'm really grateful to be here today and to really be able to share this experience with you all.
Definitely. Hawaiian Gardens, it's very well known in LA.
Yeah, it is.
When you say the name, it already popped in my head. Okay, I know where this is.
Is there Hawaiians in Hawaiian Gardens?
So a lot of people say that, but it's actually a very small Hispanic community. It's only 1 mile radius.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Which is crazy because it's so known too at the same time, I guess.
Yeah, and there's only, it's actually the last city of Southeast LA.
Okay.
So right before you go into Orange County, so it's the last city. But it's a small community. We're tiny but mighty, and a lot of great influential people have came out of there too.
Like Marlena.
Right, like Marlena.
Let's be real.
Right. One of the mains.
Thank you. So now, flash forward to being here, there's been an endless amount of chapters that I've went through since living there. In my adult life, I moved on the west side of Los Angeles. So when I was 18 years old, began living closer to downtown LA, and I've worked and moved all throughout Los Angeles too. So I've had my fair share of experiences of other locations and places. I have worked on the west side. I've worked in South LA. I've worked closer to Pasadena, all in different fields of business. But when I was younger, I'd like to start off by sharing a little bit of where my momentum and I guess adversity and character really comes from.
Yes, got it. That's one of our main questions that we ask is always where did this all come from? Did it come from maybe the neighborhood? Did it come from your parents? Are you like an only child? Did it come from maybe some of your siblings?
Yeah, so I am far from an only child.
Okay.
I am actually a young woman of 10 kids.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Hold on, 10 kids?
Wow.
Yes.
Oh my God. Same here actually, which is maybe why we click so good.
Someone got busy.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Goodness, 10 kids? Who's got time?
I know.
Well, I mean,
both of
somebody
our
got time.
parents,
But I'm really glad that you bring that up, because it actually brings an emotional standpoint to things too, is because the way that we treat others out in the world is the same way that we foster that community within our own families, having so many different people that, depend on us, and then also that, we look to depend on as well. So yes, exactly. And I feel like that is a big thing when it comes to my character and the way that, I've developed as a young woman
Mhm.
is I'm the oldest girl.
Okay.
So, I grew up in a Christian family,
Yes.
and I have always been taught to live a life of gratitude and servitude, which is, before I see what's on my plate, I'm making sure the next
Yes.
person, my younger
Yes.
sibling, or somebody who's in need is also eating too,
Mhm.
So
Sounds like you were kind of like the parent for your siblings at times too. Is that about right?
I think that, yeah, I've had those, experiences in growing periods, but I can honestly say it's such a beautiful thing because, you have people to look to. And because we have always been so close knit, I can look to my younger siblings who are now of age. And wherever we go, we have our own little gang together,
There you go.
So.
Yes, definitely.
I have my more than plus one. I have my plus three, and
Exactly.
we love each other and we support one another, and we're there when we go through different struggles. So I think family is everything,
Wow.
more than anything.
Yeah,
So
that definitely builds character, and how about mom and dad?
yes, so my parents, they've been married for over 25
Oh
years.
my gosh, amazing.
Yes,
Inspired.
yes.
Loyalty is so hard to come by nowadays. Let's be real.
Oh my goodness, that's so true. And I'm glad that you bring that up because, I feel like that loyalty and true love and self-respect and respect for others comes from seeing that in them and,
Yes.
embodying that with one another and being like, okay, I know what real love is because of the way they showed it with one another
Wow.
and how
Wow.
close knit they were. No matter the highs or the lows, they've never given up on one another. So,
Wow,
you know.
sounds like you and me, Mike. A lot of lows, but we
Wow.
still get through.
14 years.
14 years.
Oh,
We're
I
almost- we're
love
there-
it.
we'll hit
See,
the
I need to
25.
ask you what's the secret.
Okay, there you go.
Get out of the way. That's my secret.
Wow. Oh my
I don't know.
god.
I'm just saying.
Right, for reals though, he's right. No.
Wow.
But true, you do see that from your siblings, and then obviously your parents being staples in your all of the 10 children's lives. That's so powerful.
Yes, it's very powerful. And, I always say, like, if I do have a role model, it's my mother.
Wow.
And
Maybe you can explain that a little bit, like how she impacted your life, because especially you being the oldest, right?
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. So I would say with her, more than anything, she's been, a idol for me because she never fails. Doesn't
Wow.
matter. And when we talk about how mothers are truly superhumans,
Yes.
she is somebody who I can advocate for. Doesn't matter the time of day. It doesn't matter how tired she is. She gets up and she shows up for her kids. And
Wow.
it's very admirable. And the work ethic, that is where it comes from for myself. Same thing with my father. He worked in public works for the city of Hawaiian Gardens for over 20 years.
Wow.
And no matter what he was doing, he always put in 120% effort. And I think those are the things that really define an individual because, I'm being raised by, or the next person is being raised by people who don't take life for granted and are humble and, go out and do their best in everything that they do, no matter how big or how small. So that has always been, a good example to me. So I can be like, it doesn't matter if I am, making over 6 figures now and, extremely successful. I still treat every single day when I show up as this is my day one because
Wow.
that's the character that they've instilled in me.
Wow.
Based on their
that's
work
very
ethic.
powerful because
And I feel that.
yeah, it's the same concept that usually we have in the morning. We wake up and we're like, all right, it's a new day, it's a new chapter, let's write a new book, let's write in a new journal and realize, hey, this is going to be clean slate from yesterday. Like we can create anything we want in our mind and then use that as a way to impact whether it's our lives, other people's lives, and you're already doing it. And you're only 27, so it's a very young age. May I ask you, are you in a relationship at the moment?
Yes, so I have my partner. His name is Jeremy. So we've been going strong for a few years now, and it's really nice because we actually complement each other really well. So the areas where he needs growth, I feel like I aid to that, and
Love
the
that.
areas that I need growth, same thing. And that brings up a really good topic. Which is, having healthy support systems. We talk about family, we talk
Yes.
about having, partners, and just overall being surrounded by people who will help uplift us. And that has been a huge part of, my
Wow.
journey and my growth as well.
Love it.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Yeah.
mom and shout out to Jeremy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, good
Definitely.
job, Jeremy. Good
And
job.
all of your family, honestly, because like you said, it's just everyone around you seems to be able to have that love and support, which is just bringing you to be this amazing woman that you are today.
Thank
and
you.
obviously yourself as well. You know what I mean? We have to shout Marlena out as well.
Thank you.
And I love the fact that you said, parents have superhuman strengths. This is something that I always let Eli know, because even though we have children together, I came into their lives when they're a little bit younger, maybe
Right.
4 years old. Now they're 21 and 18 years old. So I've been there for quite some time, but I do see this magical power that Eli holds because, he's the blood father. And I believe that parents really do have this superhuman
Right.
strength where maybe there are some days I might sleep an extra 15 minutes. And Eli is like
2 hours.
Right? Maybe 2 hours. And, he is like right there always, no matter what. And whatever the case is, he is
Yeah.
always there to make things happen. And it's just so powerful, and I don't think people understand that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so that brings us to a really good point, because
Yes.
when we think about the overall idea of our existence as humans in our human experience, we are meant to really do for others. And I think that instinctiveness really comes out in parenthood. But overall, we're meant to really teach and help others grow and be of servitude to others to
Right.
help them build and become their best selves. I
Yes.
think the best example of that is parenthood,
Right.
So being able to make a real impact in your children's lives, I think it's beautiful. And we see that, in almost anything that we do in our business relationships and our friendships. And, the more we can veer towards that, I think the better off we are as humans.
Yeah.
Have you considered having children in your future? Or?
Oh my God, definitely.
Okay.
Yes.
You never
yes.
know. Everybody's so different.
Yeah.
No, definitely. I mean, I think that there's a time and place for everything, and more than anything right now, I feel very compelled towards, my goals and the things that I have set for myself over the next couple of years. Like we mentioned, I'm 27 years old. There's already so many things that I'm veering into, and I just overall say it's God's timing, So
Right.
He's
I
never
love that.
late. He's
Right.
always on time.
Yes.
So
I really love that.
yeah, I'm open to any possibility that He puts my way, but I do feel very compelled to know that I am on the right path and I'm on the right journey, and whatever steps He wants me to take is where I'm going. So
That's so powerful.
that.
I
Yeah.
love that so much. So then, you're in Hawaiian Gardens, you're learning all these amazing things from yourself, obviously self-growth from your parents, from your siblings. You're about 18, and this is when you're starting to make the moves into, being who you are today. Because again, 27, this 18 years old wasn't
Right.
too long ago. Is that when you kind of veered off on your own and started doing, and let's start talking about some of your businesses as well. Where'd you start off in business when you were 18?
yeah, so it's so interesting because I've really been the first person in my family to get out there and want to do something different. And, coming from very traditional Hispanic parents
Yes.
and community and family, I was the first one to take my first trip to New York City. I was the first one to get out there and start traveling and even expand further than our city and get out there and want to learn more. So number one thing is, as soon as I became a little bit older, I understood that I needed to be a sponge, and I was curious, and things like that intrigued me, new experiences. So I got my foot out there. I actually went to school for business for 2 years, and for business administration, and then
Amazing.
eventually got into the field and started learning business hands-on. So within the span of 2 years, I jumped about 7 different positions.
Wow.
Um,
Oh my
e-
goodness. Okay.
each role with a new promotion, a new raise, and basically never took no for an answer. So
There you go.
no
And
matter,
this is all in business?
this is all in business.
Wow. Okay.
Uh,
This explains a lot. I'm so happy we're here talking
Yeah,
about this
definitely.
today because we obviously know you outside of the cameras, and we just know you as a powerful businesswoman. And now that we're able to talk about your life a little bit more in
Right.
depth, it just is starting to show every reason why. I mean, that's a lot of different upgrades in your life in 2 years,
No,
and all of
for
it
sure.
being business.
What was your main emphasis while you were in those jobs?
So I handled operations. I studied clienteling. I also worked in management, and then I specialized in events as well. So over the course of 10 years, I primarily worked in fashion,
Okay.
Yes.
and I had those specialties that I grew on and built on. More than anything, though, it was all, a blur, to say the least, because it was a everyday hustle and
Yes.
everyday focus of, just learning more knowledge, gaining more experience. But then flash forward, 10 years later, I look back and I reflect, and those were really the building blocks that shaped me. No matter how tough the experiences were, it
Yes.
was okay. I'm learning how to do these things for a reason, so
Right.
that I can contribute them to my own goals and successes later down the line. So
Love
the
that.
self-reflection helps.
I
Yeah.
love the
Yes.
history, because even me, when I turned 17, I went right to college, got my associate's degree, then I went to a university, and my main emphasis was also business administration, and then I went into finance, which is what we're doing now. But what it taught me is how to network, how to communicate with people, which I think college and universities nowadays, that's really the main scope of what you go for. Unless you're trying to be a doctor or something in the medical field or an attorney. But I feel like business has such an array of differences, like everything that you do, and we still haven't even got to the nitty gritty of all your stuff. But I feel like that helps develop so many different ways of how to interpret conversations with people. And you host that very well. Even your poise is very charming, and you just
Powerful.
like it demands some
Yes.
some obedience of some kind. And I feel like those little technical things of school, that's the advanced side of knowing how to communicate with people. And I think that you did that very well, because sitting here, you have all these different businesses that, and we'll get to it, that you've been able to put yourself into. And now you understand more at a very young age what you need to do. And of course, you had the foundation, your parents and even your siblings probably still look up to you. And you're doing so many things. And I'm sure your boyfriend has, is growing with you as well in the last few years. So this is just really exciting to see where it's going to keep heading. And you're not even in your 30s, and there's people that are in their 30s and 40s haven't even got to
Right.
where they want to be in life.
Mhm.
And I can only imagine where you're going to be at 30 or 35
Oh my
or
God,
I mean
yes.
probably in Hawaiian gardens, but not in Hawaiian gardens. Do you get what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But
Giving back.
giving back,
Yes,
doing
there you
something
go.
positive.
Exactly.
But
exactly.
so from your college, you obviously started working all these jobs. Where did you go from there?
Yeah, so more than anything, I worked from company to company, really building on my expertise, all different luxury fashion houses. And so I learned a specialty, particularly with product knowledge. So I started to learn more about leather goods, clothing, product assortment.
Nice.
And throughout those experiences, I learned how to work really well with people. So people management,
Amazing.
also how to run brick and mortar stores all on my own. So, I would handle wages, I would handle scheduling, hiring, interviewing, recruitments, all those good things. So I think that every chapter of these experiences that I've had has gave me a understanding and a uh, better sense of knowledge for each of the areas that I needed to build on.
Amazing.
Almost the same way that school would, taking your
Yes.
classes. So
Yes.
there was a period of my life where I solely focused on business operations.
Wow.
Got it.
So logistics and sending things off, and I was hands on. I was making sure down to the label things were correct, and large orders sometimes of 50,000 or more
Wow.
for other companies. And, I've hired and fired, and I've had the tough conversations, and I've, trained people, and I've really worked one on one with, people who know nothing about business and showed them the ropes and things like that. So then
So
each
you were like you were literally the businesswoman behind the computer. You were the one, again, hiring and firing. You were, and I have to note this because again, what we're about to get into, it seems like you're upgrading into a different level from not being the management and not being the operations, but going into fashion. I know that you also go into modeling, which is a whole different world. So your life changes dramatically from what you're about to finish on and then to what we're going to go into next.
Oh my goodness. And, it's so funny that you say that because this is the beautiful thing about life. You're always able to rewrite your story.
Wow.
And I feel like we have an infinite amount of lives that we live within one life.
Yes.
Yes.
And we have the ability to really say, this is who I want to be, and compel ourselves into those areas.
Love that.
So, going back to high school,
Yes.
when I was in high school, can you guess what sport I played?
Let's see.
I think you're fancy, so I don't know if tennis. I don't know.
Softball.
So I was actually the only woman wrestler on the team.
Oh, no
Gosh,
kidding.
Really?
Okay.
Oh my god.
Way off.
Wow,
Way.
this is
Wow.
extreme.
And I was a boxer too.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh, yes.
Yeah,
How
for 4
powerful.
years.
Wow,
I
love
love
this
that.
so much. Oh
So,
my god.
It's so incredible to think about, what people can really achieve when they
Wow.
set their minds to it.
Oh my
Right.
gosh.
Because if you do look at me, I'm the most girly girl that
Yes,
you could
right.
imagine.
Right.
But in that moment, in that chapter of my life, I said, I want to achieve this. I know I can achieve this. Let me put my mind to it, and I'm gonna make sure I make it happen.
Oh
Love
my
that.
gosh.
And really instilled that determination and that discipline to be like, I don't know how we're gonna make this work.
Okay.
She doesn't have muscles, but we're gonna figure this out and make it
Right.
work. And I ended up taking my wrestling journey all the way up into finals.
Wow.
So I
Oh
achieved
my
a lot
gosh.
with that. It was very
Congrats.
exciting. Yeah.
And so many different
Yeah.
lives, like you said, like boxing and wrestling, and then to a businesswoman where you're hiring and firing operations, which is sometimes being behind a computer for hours, making sure things are exactly the way they need to be, sometimes not talking to anybody because you're just right there on the computer. Where did your life lead into after the powerful business behind the scenes type woman that you were? Where did it go from there?
Yeah. So I started managing different brick and mortar stores.
Yes.
So
Like fashion stores?
yes,
Okay,
I partnered directly with CEOs and vice presidents. So I would get flown out to New York City quite often,
Wow.
go to different leadership conferences and trainings out there. And it was really exciting because I'm doing all this at the age of 22.
Wow.
Yes,
So-
because it sounds like it seems like you're talking about a woman who's like maybe in her 50s who just has accomplished so many
Literally.
different things.
Yeah, it does.
And you're 22 years old when you're doing all of this.
Yes.
yeah.
Wow.
So it's really great
Wow.
to be able to have that experience, and I've always had a niche for numbers
Okay.
and business.
Mhm.
So, but above all, I've been a people person.
Mhm.
So, that is something I've never been taught, being able to connect with others
Love that.
and genuinely care for others.
Yes.
And I think more than anything in my entire career, that is what has gotten me the furthest.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So
Yeah.
being a people person and caring for others, I have to repeat that because if you could use anything in your life, I feel like that's where we also match energies
Right.
as well, because that's what I use in my life. I love caring for people. I love being a people person, and it has gotten myself so far as well. So, if you guys are watching right now, make sure you take note on this subject that you're speaking of, because it could be so powerful, and you could be just as powerful as Marlena at 27, right? 27 years old. So,
And as a woman, right? So obviously the world has so many different things that are going on now. I mean, let's think about everything from presidencies to all these different powerful positions that anybody can take. I feel like women have really captured a lot more uh, power, so to say, in this world that I think we're living, this new life, right?
Yes.
The life that keeps changing. So you're a lot about advocating for the speech for women, empowerment, and so forth. How did you fall into that? Is that something that you just grew up with and feel like women should have a stronger voice, or is there something more to that?
yeah, let's talk about women empowerment, because when you look at you, that's all you see.
Thank you.
Yes.
So I would say more than anything that comes from experience. You know, I know I've touched on a little bit of working in the modeling industry, and then I've also touched on my experience in business and really having to, put my hands in and put my elbow into things and learn hands on. And through those experiences, I just feel like I always want to make sure that I live the life of the person that I wish I had by my side. And, during those chapters, being the oldest girl, being the first person to really step out
Yes.
and do something new, not having a lot of guidance, but really maneuvering and trying to learn things on your own. You do go through different challenges and different experiences.
Of course.
And I just feel like I always want to represent myself as somebody who I wish could have been there for me.
Wow.
And it is difficult navigating the world as a woman, especially in the modern day age. There's so many obstacles that you face, and there are so many things that you need to be wary of, and just make sure that you're always protecting yourself. But on the contrary, there's always a bright side to things. So as women, we have an infinite amount of power at our fingertips, and I think it's about honing into that and really, grasping that fully. And when you truly do, just know that you are unstoppable and the world is yours.
Wow.
I
And
love that.
on that topic of women empowerment, I know you stated, you have like an icon in your life, which is your mother. But at the same time, what I'm getting from all this is that you built your own women empowerment as well through trial and error, is basically what you were just stating. And so maybe you could also talk about the trials and errors that you've been through in this time of building your women empowerment, because I feel like some individuals, some women, obviously men as well, they don't push themselves to go through these trials and errors because they don't want to go through the error part of it. And it seems like you, on the other hand, you're like, I'm just going to go and I'm going to see what happens. And if it's a great thing, it's a great thing. And if it's an error, it's an error. But you're just going to keep going. How do you push yourself to keep going in such a crazy world that we live, let's be honest, even in a world where we're still, in regards to women, and we don't need to talk about politics a lot
Right.
here, but, there's been 2 women who have already tried to be president, which I think is phenomenal and amazing. But again, that takes trial and error. And do you feel that, maybe because women, they're not, pushing themselves like you are doing? Because again, men are the same, but there's not a lot of men doing this error thing that you need to go through to, bring yourself to have different businesses and be a different person.
Yeah, I think that's a great question. So more than anything, I feel like it's all about understanding your strengths
Okay.
and understanding your superpower.
Love that.
And as women, we take a little bit of a different approach
Okay.
to life, to business, to achieving success. And it's not necessarily always about going out there and putting in, extreme amounts of hard work until you're burnt out and you can't do it anymore. And I think that's where sometimes, it can get confusing because as young individuals, we're taught, okay, get out there, work for things, and then it'll be yours.
Yes.
With women, I encourage us to also think about your strengths and your superpowers and the things that really tune into our femininity and where we can hone in on that and expand on that more than anything. So, women are nurturing, women are great communicators,
Yes.
women are, powerful, have a powerful presence when you're able to hone in and learn on that and expand on that. So just taking what works for you and building on it.
I love
You
that.
don't have to necessarily go the hard route.
Right.
What is your superpower and how can you really align with that and go from there? And you'll start to see that your life feels so much more effortless and the business that you do feels so much more organic because you're being authentic to yourself. Because we get a lot of misconceptions of, in order to be successful in business, you have to be the BITCH,
Yes,
you
yes,
have to
yes.
be,
Right.
that alpha woman. You have
Right.
to be that very strong woman who puts up with everything and anything and, takes every hit and every blow. But I feel like the more that I've attained success, the more aligned I've been with my inner self.
Wow.
And, that comes with boundaries. That comes with really standing up for yourself and advocating for yourself, no matter where you are, no matter who you're meeting, no matter whose hand you're shaking.
Yes.
As in, you cannot overstep my boundaries
Right.
and how I respect myself. So therefore the world is also going to treat me in that manner as well.
I
So
love that. And in your opinion, what are some valuable focuses that women can consider to think about for 2025? What would be some things they can seek out to find better ways for themselves to maybe approach a job or maybe to better themselves or their self-esteem or even relationships?
yeah, so more than anything, I think in 2025, we should say no to everything that does not serve our higher purpose.
I
So
love that. I love that. And that
I think
could
he
go
told
for-
me that yesterday.
Right. I think that goes for women and men. Even though, of course, I know you're speaking to the women audience right now. I just felt that so much. I got the chills just by you stating that. And I don't mean to interrupt you. I just felt the energy in that. And if you can continue with this, because it's so good.
Yeah.
No, definitely. So basically, we set a vision in our mind of, okay, what is it that Eli and Mike want to achieve going into the year?
Got
What
it.
is it that Marlena wants to achieve? What is it that I or, somebody wants to achieve? And you have this vision of your head. Say no to every single thing that does not bring you closer to that goal and towards that image of yourself. And the more you do that, the more respect that you will continue to have for yourself, and that will reflect back to you as well. So
Wow.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
that's such a strong. How do you say? It's almost like a contract with yourself. Like we're all signing it, agreeing that we want to forcefully and with good intention, forcefully get what we want. Yet at the same time, it's for your higher purpose to get better in your life. And I think that's genius because, I mean, like Mike said, you act upon like you're someone with like 5 decades of wisdom, which I think we can generously say may have came from your mom and your family and maybe even your siblings around your surroundings. But it's hard for people to really realize how important it is to see what you really want in life and actually tell the world, hey, here's my contract. This is what I want. Sign here if you want to be part of my life. And if you don't, then hey, well, it's gonna not help my purpose of what I'm trying to grow.
And those are called non-negotiables. And you know, I think the more clarity that I've gained in my life over the last couple of years and wisdom has been by setting those non-negotiables and never crossing them.
Wow.
So a few of those for myself will be number one, all glory goes to my God. So he is my unwavering faith.
Love this.
And number two, living a life of servitude and selflessness. So the more that we do that for others and put good out into the world, I feel like the more that comes back to us. So, you know,
definitely.
putting that out there and just not being selfish with things, you will always be taken care of. So
Beautiful.
it's a non-negotiable for me. Number three is self-love. So always assuring I'm taking care of myself before I take care of others.
I love
So
that.
pour into you, because you're no good to anybody else unless, you know, you're taking care of you too. So
Love
That's
that. So
great.
powerful.
And going into, you know, the next topic in our mind is, so after you did some work out in the different type of stores you were working at, we also realized you also went into modeling.
Right.
And in the modeling world, I believe you said you worked or you went to London, right?
mhm.
So do you mind elaborating on that? That's amazing. We're always in those circles with fashion and with modeling. We've done some modeling ourselves.
And it wasn't just regular fashion modeling. It
Yeah.
was like the Paris runways or the London runways, the LA fashion weeks, where these are some of the hardest things to get into. And before you explain, make sure you do speak about the topic of being a model. You know, some people call public speaking one of the hardest jobs or one of the scariest jobs in the world to conquer, because you have to literally stand in front of people and speak. I believe it goes hand in hand with modeling, because you have to go out there and display yourself in front of very unique different people who are basically there to critique you. So if you could
Up
touch
and
on
down
this.
too, by the way. They're
Right.
like up, down.
Yeah,
Critique.
you know, some of them wear glasses because they're like, I'm gonna look at every piece of this body here. So if you could speak about this, because I think it's, you know, we've also done LA Fashion Week, and it was very frightening. And you know, we don't do this all the time, but we have. But we want to know your story.
Yeah, and I think that is the perfect segue into confidence. So more than anything, a mantra of mine is, if it scares you, run towards it.
Hmm.
I love that.
So
Oh
I
my
know it
God.
might sound a little contradicting, but you know, I feel like I've always went towards the risk and went towards the things that do give me a little bit of that almost fearful feeling in order to overcome it. And that's how you build confidence,
Mhm.
you know. From a very young age, I started modeling when I was 14 years old.
Okay.
And it's important. You all know, you know, raising children too, to instill those things with them at a young age.
Yes.
And you know, rejection is normal in life and in experiences throughout life. So the more you get over that fear of
Mhm.
rejection and that that face that you have to put onto the world and really align with your true authentic self, the better off life is going to feel, and the more in tune with yourself you're going to feel as well. So confidence is everything. And I've done a little bit of everything. So when I was younger, I think I was maybe 15 years old. I
Mhm.
was going to castings in downtown LA.
Wow.
I worked fitness shoots. I worked beauty shoots. I worked freelance shoots. I worked music videos. I worked commercial. I worked bridal
Wow. This
magazine.
Is all at 15.
This is between 15 and 18 years
Wow.
old.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
And then eventually went into editorial, which was working at different fashion shows.
Mhm.
So I worked LA Swim Week. I worked Miami Swim Week.
Wow.
I worked London Fashion Week.
Wow.
And I've walked in over, I think, 18 shows.
Hmm.
And then for a short period of time, I also was on a reality TV show
Okay.
Mhm.
that was discussing the background to what women and models go through in the industry as
Wow.
Do you
well.
think
So,
can you tell us that show or no?
It was Rising Fashion.
Okay.
Rising
Yes.
Fashion.
Love it.
Out
Find
in
it.
Miami.
Right? Yeah, there you go, Miami.
It
And-
would be Miami, wouldn't it?
It would,
and
yes.
18 runways. This is incredible. Can you give the audience a little bit of what your mindset is when you're walking down that runway?
Oh my goodness, it's so freeing. So I think that's what it's all about is
Mhm.
once you let go
Wow.
of the expectations of, you know, what people would think, you feel your best self.
Yes.
So I encourage everyone to, no matter what it is, if you are into making jewelry or you're into, you want to try a new sport or you're just starting dancing or playing the piano or getting into finance or even just starting your own podcast,
Mhm.
no matter what it is, just go for it. Because a big mantra of mine is it day one or is it one day? And
Wow.
you know,
Powerful.
there's two best times to plant a tree. It's either 10 years ago or today.
Mhm.
Oh my god, I
So-
love that. So powerful.
So, you know, just
Okay.
go out there and go for it. And
Wow.
that's my mindset whenever I'm walking on a show, because it is
Mhm.
nerve-wracking, you know.
Right.
So many people, the spotlights, but
Yes.
embrace it.
There you
Embrace
go.
all of it, because that is life, and
That
that
is
is what life is
amazing.
about. Is like
Yes.
those moments that really spark your fire
Yes.
and your creativity, and you have that little flutter in your
Mhm,
chest,
mhm.
but it shows that you're alive
Right.
and you're
Yes.
well.
Oh my gosh.
And you know, those are the moments that sometimes we don't always appreciate.
Very
but,
true,
you
very
know,
true.
Life's a duality. So
There
when
you
there's
go.
lows, there's highs. And when you do get those highs, like walking across a runway,
Mhm.
just embrace it.
Love
You know, and I
That's
feel
great.
like that's when all the nerves just kind of
Mhm.
go and
Yes.
they release. So
That's powerful.
And
Mhm.
talking about your creativeness, you also have a
Yes.
brand called MYM, and I'd love for you to let us know, how did that
Yes,
happen?
yes.
I believe it's your initials, and if you don't mind, go ahead and let us know the story about that.
yeah, so I founded MYM Essentials in 2020.
Okay.
So
And this is hair products, beauty products.
this is a beauty brand, yes.
Beauty brand.
Okay.
Love it.
Yes, I specialize in hair care products. So
As you
As
can
you
tell,
can tell, everyone.
Come
I
on,
don't know
let's
if
be
you can
real.
see this beautiful
and it's
hair.
not extensions.
it's not
so beautiful.
extensions.
Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. Like we have guests on the show all the time, and we love extensions, by the way. But
We don't have them on, but
We're not biased. We're not
you know,
biased.
we're not
No
biased.
judgments.
But wow, can you just like
Yeah.
look at your hair for like a moment? We have to like, wow, this is so beautiful. And obviously, you're using your products on your own hair, correct?
Definitely. So,
Mhm.
you know, I go for all natural ingredients. I'm so thankful that you guys are bringing up, you know, this topic, because it's a company of mine that sits really close to my heart. So, MYM Essentials was founded in 2020, and I started from scratch. I made everything from the ground up, from my website to my clienteling to my brand campaigns to my
Mhm.
photo shoots, all of my
Wow.
social medias. But when I thought about, you know, creating my own business, I thought about something that I would want to really stick with and that has a deep meaning behind it as well. And when I was younger, about 11 years old, I lost my grandmother, Adalita. I know we were discussing
Wow, we
her
were talking about
earlier.
that. Sorry to hear that.
No,
Oh
thank
my God,
you.
my grandma's name is Adelita too.
Is
Yeah,
it really?
It really is. That's
Yeah.
so
Oh
great.
my
I'm
God,
telling
we
you,
just had a
We have so
moment.
many connections that I'm like, okay,
just
why
had
are
a
these keep
moment.
happening? But for sure, like literally, God bless her. And we
Aw.
have to hear her story, the reason why all this came about.
Yeah, and you know, she did pass away from cancer.
God bless, God bless.
So when I thought about creating a brand, I thought about a way that, you know, I could target the confidence of women and also target, you know, being able to give back to something that was so near and dear to my
Mhm.
heart. So actually going into January 2025, for the entire month, all of my sales for MYM Essentials, 40% I am
Oh my
donating to a organization for breast cancer awareness.
Wow.
So
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's a huge, like, usually you see donations like 10% of the product or 5% of the product.
Or
but
just get the
40
change sometimes.
Like 40% is massive.
yeah,
That
so
is massive.
that's where the background comes from, and I also like to focus on women who go through experiencing alopecia.
Okay.
So
Can you explain that a little bit?
yeah, alopecia, the condition for natural hair loss. So just being able to embrace, you know, feeling beautiful with the products that I have. So it's good for your skin too. So there's different ways that I target that. I've worked with models who have had alopecia before. Seeing them behind the camera feel their best, be beautiful. With anybody that I've worked with, my sets are always all women, 100%.
Wow.
So from the makeup artists to the videographers to
Love it.
the photographers, and being able to see a community of women and contribute towards that,
Yes.
them feeling their best selves, it's really great. So that has been the whole focus behind my brand, and
Wow.
yeah, that's
I mean,
where
so
we're at
much
now.
meaning to it, so much women empowerment. Again, like I
Right.
didn't know that your sets are full women. Everyone. It just has so much meaning to it from the start to the finish. And not only that, I mean, the product shows it's so beautiful on you, like, and your
And
skin
do
is so beautiful.
And can anybody buy them online? Is there a website for
Yes,
that? Or?
yeah. So it's www.allthingsmym.la.
Okay.
So the reason why it's all things mym.la is because we will eventually expand into other beauty products too,
Yes.
and other self-care products. So the biggest focus for our brand is self-care and self-love. So
Love that.
products that really give you the confidence and the the connection to yourself, feeling your
Yes.
best self. So
Yes.
Wow, I
and,
love
And the
that.
products right now are mainly like, what type of product is it?
natural hair growth oil, so
Amazing.
avocado oil, castor oil, jojoba oil,
Love
Okay.
it.
all home infused. So I do
Yes.
them by hand.
Wow.
And then we have silk wraps, and we also have brushes too.
Oh, wow.
Which, now that we're on the topic,
Oh my god.
I got a little something for you all
No
here.
way.
No
Are you
way.
kidding me? Oh my
my
god.
goodness.
This
For
is
you.
So exciting.
Wait, we could pass
Really?
one over.
No way.
What?
We're
So
blessed.
super
Oh my
cute.
What's going
God.
on?
Luxe Aesthetic.
No way.
Those are
for
my
you
God,
guys.
Thank
Okay,
you
great.
so much. I have to open this right now. Oh my god, yes. I've been needing a new brush because my hair has been being very crazy with the dyes and everything like that. And look how amazing this
Wow,
is.
that is
Like,
amazing.
Wow,
And
this
look,
is
she's
top-notch product.
gold.
Wow, this
She's
fits in right in
chic,
with
she's
me.
luxe.
And we've been growing on her hair, so
As
this
you
is,
can
like,
tell, it's been growing.
perfect for
Yeah,
us.
thank you so
And-
much.
No,
Oh
you
my
have
God.
fabulous hair.
Oh my
So
God,
thank you so
I was
much.
like, it only makes sense. The best for the best.
Thank you.
Oh
Wow.
my god, Marlena, this is so amazing because also I've never experienced hair loss in my life. I've always had really healthy hair. And recently I have, because I had dyed it bleach and I'm
Right.
doing curls now, which is my natural hair, I have been experiencing a little bit of hair loss, and it's so scary because it's something that I'm not used to. And I'm literally now holding a product where it literally says right here, AIDS and hair loss prevention, which is like blowing my mind right now. It was like meant for you to come today because this has been happening like in the last
Wow.
2 weeks. And now literally I have something handmade by you, which
Yes.
the love and energy that you put into this, I know it's gonna work. I see it working on you. And I'm just like so excited to use this, you guys. Like, oh my god, so amazing. Thank
Wow,
you for
we
this
are
gift. I'm
honestly
gonna
honored.
use
Thank you.
this tonight.
He's using
Yes.
it
so
tonight.
excited.
Oh
I
my
have to
goodness,
put this-
yeah, and don't shy away because you
Oh
can
my
use it on your
gosh.
skin too.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Um,
no way.
so it's all natural. It's
Have to show
hypoallergenic, but also just on the ends.
Oh my
Okay.
It doesn't
gosh,
also
look how
have
cool
to.
that is.
Yes.
Oh my god. So also another thing, since we're on this topic, I've sometimes I also, because I have the curly hair and I've been laying in, when I wake up in the morning, sometimes I see a couple of my strands in my pillow, and I heard that if you use a silk or a hair, and this is called a hair
Wrap
a
or
hair
bonnet.
wrap, right? That it actually can help prevent your hair from breaking and whatnot. So again,
Exactly.
this is so
Wow.
crazy. You like brought me exactly what I needed today.
He's going to be wearing it. I'm going to be like, are you
On
okay?
the way out, I might be wearing this. So
Oh, wow.
Thank you so much.
Please
Love
use it
you.
every
Oh my
night.
God, I'm going
Like
to.
I said, self-care and
This is
self-love is what we're all
amazing.
about.
I love that. Oh, my
So,
God. Thank you so
you're
much.
gonna
We
wake
are
up
very
feeling
honored.
Oh my God, so
rejuvenated.
honored. I feel it already. This is so amazing. And the energy you put into it.
And
is
it's not even
powerful.
just that. I mean, so aside
Right.
from just the hair products and the natural oils and everything that you have, you also are, I don't know if you're a partner or if you're also involved in the fashion clothing. And
Yes.
if you can explain that as well, I believe we were enlightened a little bit
Yes.
about that with
The
you
Band
before.
of Wolves, correct? The
Yes.
Band of Wolves, shout out. which
Yes.
I love your clothing line. It is so powerful, everything about it. But I'll let you explain it. But oh my God,
Yes.
you guys have to go look up Band of Wolves like right now. It is one of the most epic clothing lines out there right now, skyrocketing to the top.
Thank you.
No, yes.
So I've worked in fashion for about 10 years now, and I have had the honor to work with, some renowned artists, celebrities, and just individuals in their professions that are killing it. And I'm just so grateful for the experiences. I've worked in styling and wardrobe, on set for music videos, photo shoots, um, for direct clients, high profile clients who are working red carpet. So it's been a beautiful journey, to be able to support them in those experiences and learn hands on about fashion, all things fashion, from accessories to handbags to clothing and ready to wear, to runway. It's been a beautiful journey, to say the least. And it's so great because life is all about creativity, and really honing into that. And I think it's one of the, you both know, one of the most, effortless ways that you can put your creativity out into the world, whether it's a cute touch of a brooch
Right.
or some easy little accessories
Yes,
that you
exactly.
pair. You make everything your own, and
Yes.
you can change, a look to something that's very stylish and uniquely you in a matter of an instant. So creativity is beautiful, and I'm grateful to be able to, work in the field of fashion. And I have partnered with Jeremy on being the lead executive of women's wear for the Band of Wolves. So we've worked on some major projects and campaigns together, which has been amazing, to
Congrats
say the
on that.
least. Thank you.
Yes.
And then currently I'm a lead client advisors for a major luxury brand.
Wow.
So over the course of, a decade now, it's been about absorbing things and truly honing in on my expertise as a stylist and a fashion expert,
Wow.
taking a little bit of the business side, but never losing, side to the creativity and, to the love that you're able to put out there into the world through, these creative moments that we depict. So
And considering
It shows,
everything,
it shows.
yeah, and
Just
it definitely shows.
You just sitting here, it truly shows.
And considering, all this beauty, all this glamour, all this excitement of your growth, has there ever been a time where, and if you don't mind me asking, has there ever been a time where things just didn't go so well? Maybe something just was not what you expected, and if you could explain maybe one moment in your life, it could be from any time in your life where you feel like this is just not working for me.
And this is one of our harder questions that we ask because it's more of like a question where, it's a time where you were possibly so down and out that you were laying in bed and you're like, you know what, I can't even get out of bed today. But obviously you're sitting here today with us again in Beverly Hills, Rodeo Drive. You made it out. You're looking beautiful. All these things that you have going on, from clothing line, hair products, businesswoman, walking runways. Can you share with us? And again, it's a hard question, like what was your moment in time where you were out and down?
Oh
and
my
how
goodness.
did you get out of it?
Yeah, I mean, we could even go as far as to say there's been periods of my life of every other week, and it's real. It's real life. And I think about, just growing as a young woman, and not really knowing exactly what life is going to offer you, good or bad, and kind of going through those motions and experiences and taking them head on, it helps you develop into, a stronger person. But some advice that I say is we are not the first people on this planet, nor are we the first people to do what we're doing. So, there have been other podcasts. There have been other women who have already went through their modeling career. There have been women and men who have had the Fortune 5 companies and, who have failed time and time again through their journeys. Learn from them. Learn from the people who have already went through those experiences and, grasp as much knowledge as you can so that way you don't have to necessarily go through those motions on your own. And that's the best advice I will give young adults moving into, their careers and their space is, latch on to a mentor. Look for help. Do not shy away from help and do not be scared to ask for support. A healthy support system is one of the best things that you can possibly do.
Of course.
And or have for yourself. So don't shy away from that. Don't be scared of that. And more than anything, embrace it.
I love that.
Powerful. That's what most
Great.
people do.
Yeah.
Shy away from it. Most people do lock themselves away, or what a lot of people say is they black out and they're just like all on their own. But if you could take Marlena's advice today, truly, look for that support system, that mentor, and it can snap you out of it. And when you're snapped out of, these dark moments again, you could be sitting here with your own product line or, feeling beautiful, looking beautiful, and continuing to go forth. And that's some of the most powerful advice that we've had on our podcast today, honestly. Amazing.
Thank you. And going into that a little bit too, reflecting on myself as a young individual, I always had the good problem of my coping mechanism. And when I say that, my coping mechanism was high productivity. And I think we find that in a lot of ourselves. And this is why I emphasize self-care so much, is because I have been that person who I have to do more. I have to do more. And feeling that my validation came from my achievements and what I did for myself and showcased to the world.
Yes.
And, the more that we look inward, the better off we're going to be, because that is when we're able to really slow things down and listen and hear the things that we need to really build on and focus on more than anything.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so powerful.
And we're getting to the point of the end of our podcast, and we usually like to ask this as a final question. So you're 27, you're very young, and you have so much going on. We are severely blessed by having you here on this podcast, and you've enlightened us already. I'm sure we're going to have so many things we need to talk about on our own.
Right.
So for everybody to be aware of where you're headed in the next few years, let's narrow it down to maybe 5 years. Have you already kind of decided what you think is the next step for you?
Yes, definitely. So I think more than anything, it's creativity. So we have the ability to create momentum in our lives and really go after anything that we want to achieve. So when I think about the next 5 years, I think about living a life that makes me truly happy. And that is, embracing my spirit and showcasing creativity, putting creativity out into the world. And I know that everything will work out in divine timing because I'm doing what I love and what makes me happy. So veering more into that and trusting God with the process and just honing into the things that bring me joy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so powerful. And guys, you guys need to follow Marlena Magdaleno on our Instagram. And also, what are these two other Instagrams? These are your brands, right?
Yeah, so those are both of my brands. So we have our luxury clothing design brand for streetwear, and then we also have hair care products as well.
Wow.
Love it.
I love
Mhm.
that. Which we're going to buy some hair care products because obviously
Love
we
it.
have
Oh
some
my God,
already.
so exciting.
But we're really excited. Thank you so much for being on our podcast, guys. As usual, you can expect a couple reels. The full YouTube content will be released on YouTube probably in about a couple weeks. We're still working on catching up on that. But if you want to share anything, perhaps directly to the camera for any of your viewers that might want to have information about what you can share with them.
Yes, definitely. So going into 2025, I really just want to take a focus on, achieving the. Going into 2025, I really want us to focus on being the best individuals that we can be and really achieving everything that we set our mind to. Specifically for women, I think there's a few focuses and topics that we can address. So, number one, it's empowering. It's empowering and it's essential for us as women to focus on preservation, to focus on our boundaries, to focus on self-love, to focus on establishing a healthy support system, to focus on self-care, to focus on fitness, alignment, therapy, healthy habits, and education. And with those 10 things in mind, I know that we will be unstoppable and you'll really be able to hone in to the amazing achievements that you set your minds to.
Wow, and every single one of those items, topics are so important.
Right.
So that could truly change anyone's life.
Goosebumps.
So just, wow.
Insane.
Incredible.
Marlena, thank you so much for being here with us today. Guys, thank you for watching this. Much love, and we expect so much more from her.
Yes.
Even though she has 101 hands going everywhere, you know what? I'm excited to see what's going to happen.
We're
Thank you so
excited
much.
for the next 5 years. Can't wait.
Can't wait.
Yes. Love you.
So excited. Thank you.
Thank you.